Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 1246 of the Juicebox Podcast. I'm back with another quick episode to catch you up on what's in the news for type 1 diabetes this week. This is for the week of July 1st. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. What's up, everybody? I'm back to read you the news about diabetes. Isn't that nice of me? I scour the internet for you. I find stuff that's interesting to me. I come here and I tell you about it. And 15 minutes later, you've got all that stuff in your head without any of that pesky reading. Hey, if you want to save 30% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com, just use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. And of course, when you place your first order for AG1 with my link, you'll get 5 free travel packs and a free year's supply of vitamin D. drinkag1.com/juicebox. If you have type 1 diabetes and you're from the US or you're the caregiver of someone with type 1, please go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and complete the survey. Completing the survey helps type 1 diabetes research, and it only takes a few minutes. Before we get started, let me tell you about the 2025 Juice Cruise. Now, what is that exactly? Well, I'm going on a cruise, and I'm inviting all of you to come with me. This is going to happen in June of 2025, but if you register by August 1st, 2024, you're going to receive a $25 onboard credit per stateroom. This cruise is great for you if you have a family with children with type 1, or if you're an adult with type 1, or anywhere in between. I got a note the other day. It said I have type 2 diabetes. I'm a listener and I want to come. I was like, absolutely, let's go. Everybody is welcome. Bring the kids, bring yourself, bring the fam. Let's get out in the sun, meet each other, really experience community one-on-one, and have a great time. Maybe you just want to meet other Juicebox Podcast listeners. Maybe you want to meet other people that you know from the private Facebook group, or perhaps you just have never met another person with diabetes, and so this is your chance. We're going to fill that boat with beeping. You understand? It's going to beep, beep. There we go. What is that? Somebody's blood sugar's high. This cruise is on the Royal Caribbean International's Mariners of the Sea. It departs Galveston, Texas on Monday, June 23rd. It's a 5-night trip with ports of call in Galveston, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. Now, for 2 of the days of the trip, there'll be talks. I'll be giving talks, meet and greets, Q&As. We're going to bring on some special guests to talk to. And right now, I'm going to start to reach out to advertisers of the show to see if they'd like to send out customer service people so that you actually have somebody from specific companies to ask questions of. I thought that was kind of a nice idea. I'm working on that right now. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's up to the companies, but we'll find out. If you want to learn more, go to the link or text Suzanne at 817-928-4930. That's poor Suzanne, who's about to get a lot of texts. She's running the whole, travel side of this whole thing. I'm the Scotty side of it. If you go to the link, you'll be able to see the different staterooms, the complete charges that are, necessary per person. You'll understand what you're talking about before you reach out to Suzanne. Or if you just want to reach out to her and get the conversation started, I'm sure she'd be thrilled to talk to you. All right, juiceboxpodcast.com or link in the show notes or text Suzanne, and I'll see you on the ship in June. I'm very, very excited to meet everyone. I hope you can come. Bring the family. Now on to the news. So I searched a little bit, did some looking around, poking around, because the ADA's 84th scientific sessions was last week. So I figured there's got to be some takeaways from ADA, right? The American Diabetes Association holds a big conference. There must be news. Here's what I found. Some interesting stuff and some stuff that you just kind of expect. Companies are like, our thing is good. Like, okay, well, we know about that. That's not actually news. We know you think your thing is good, and it probably is, but we're looking for new stuff to talk about, not just, we did a study and, there's less hypoglycemia if you wear an automatic insulin delivery system. Yeah, thanks. We know. How about this one? I'm going to start here. Medtronic is launching the MiniMed 780G system in, the U.S. U.S. launch of the MiniMed 780G system with Guardian 4 sensor. That's interesting. Includes advanced hybrid closed loops technology for automated insulin delivery. It sounds like they're getting their thing into the U.S. What else here? There are new therapeutic targets for diabetes discussed. Oh, really? I can't wait for the establishment to realize that maybe your A1C should be lower than 7. Boy, a lot of this is probably just going to irritate me. It's going to be stuff we've been talking about for, 5-10 years on the podcast, where they're like, we've done a study and we've figured it out. There's health disparities in communities. How about that? Who knew? But this is just me being sarcastic with the news. I didn't expect that, but here we are. This is just research with mice at this point, but it's interesting enough. Where's this? Over at Johns Hopkins, a drug named MAB43. It's a monoclonal antibody. They're doing mice studies right now, but prevents and reverses type 1 diabetes onset in mice, potential for long-term use with minimal side effects, beta cells begin reproducing, and inflammation decreases. I'm excited about anybody who's looking into inflammation in the pancreas. Very interesting. Led by a PhD here. Not a lot more than that, but, I don't like to get too excited about things that work in mice because they very often don't work in people. But still, I like the direction of that. Now, here's something I actually did find really interesting. I think this is more around type 2, but it's very, very interesting. And here's why. Here's the overview of it. A recent study explored the effects of a single dose of GLP-1 based gene therapy on obesity and diabetes management in mice. Again, mice, but this is kind of interesting. The therapy is designed to deliver a gene encoding GLP-1, which is a hormone involved in blood sugar regulation, and this gets delivered directly to the pancreas. The mice were divided into 3 groups, one receiving gene therapy, one receiving daily semaglutide injections, and one receiving a placebo. During the duration of the initially followed for 4 weeks with a follow-up period extending to 8 weeks for some groups. Now, here's the key findings. There was weight and fat reduction. The mice treated with the gene therapy experienced a 21% reduction in fat mass compared to a 16% with the semaglutide after 4 weeks. Ooh. And after 8 weeks, the gene therapy maintained a 17% reduction in fat mass even after semaglutide withdrawal, while the placebo group saw no significant effect. No significant change. Significant improvements in fasting glucose and insulin levels were observed in the gene therapy and semaglutide groups at both 4 and 6 weeks. The therapy resulted in a 36% reduction in total cholesterol and a 51% reduction in LDL cholesterol compared to placebo after 2 months. And they're saying here the potential is this gene therapy could offer a long-term single-dose treatment option for managing obesity and diabetes. It aims to provide durable weight loss and improve metabolic control without the need for continuous medication. So it's something about, listen, I'm no surgeon here or researcher, but what I'm hearing is you take the GLP-1 and you magic mix it somehow in a gene therapy situation, and then maybe you're I don't want to speak for this thing, but maybe you're recoding how things are working. Anyway, this looks like a company called Fractal Health. They plan to progress the therapy through preclinical development and initiate first-in-human clinical studies in the first half of 2025. That gets a clap from me. Let's go Fractal Health. Looks like they're calling this drug, is it Rejuvia? Investors, clinical studies, our company. I might reach out to them to get somebody on the podcast here. I mean, unless they're listening, and then just please send me an email. I don't have a lot of time for this. I don't have a lot of time to be sending emails. I'm very busy. I don't know if they've got a PR. I'll look through their I'm going to hold on to this. I might reach out to them. That's not a bad idea. What else do we have here? Did the Hopkins thing, health disparities. There's health disparities in communities. They figured it out. They just did a research study. It only took a couple of years, and they came back and they said, things are not fair. Look at you. You got it. Let's see. Tandem's got that Mobi pump now. Omnipod 5 works with Dexcom G7. I heard some news from Eversense, but I got to make sure I get the details right before I bring it to you. Maybe you'll hear about that next week. This is kind of local, but I find this very encouraging. Illinois has passed legislation expanding access to continuous glucose monitors for Medicaid beneficiaries. That's excellent. This move is praised by the American Diabetes Association. It's praised by me too. That's good. More people should be doing that in more states. 1,000,000%. All right, kids. There's some older stuff here. It's not new news, but it's still stuff that pops up when I'm talking. There's an oral insulin formulation developed by the Arctic University of Norway that could potentially eliminate the need for insulin injections. That'd be cool. Very, very early on, but keep working on that for sure. And there was something here about, let me find it, intermittent fasting. Okay, I got it. This is a UIC research initiative on intermittent fasting with type 1 diabetes. The study lead, Krista Varade. Hey, Krista, what's up? You famous. Professor of nutrition at the University of Illinois, Chicago. The focus of the study was examining the safety and effectiveness of time-restricted eating, a form of intermittent fasting for individuals with type 1 diabetes. I thought this was really interesting. She found there were no adverse reactions. How about that? She's talking about hypoglycemia, diabetic ketoacidosis in the reviewed studies. Participants experienced weight loss and lowered average blood sugar levels in some cases. Looks like there was a pilot study here. It's still ongoing, comparing time-restricted eating to calorie counting and a control group with 60 participants. The recommendation after the study was that patients should consult with their doctors. And, well, that's not great, Krista, but I think what you're really taking from this is somebody's out there doing a study about fasting with type 1 diabetes, where a lot of you would say, oh, if I fast, my blood sugar is going to get low. Where I would say, if your settings were good, you could not eat for quite some time without experiencing a low blood sugar. This is the takeaway here, right? Because people are always wondering, like, how do I exercise? My blood sugar always falls. Exercise without any active insulin. That doesn't mean you don't have your basal going, but it's a really well-timed basal, a well-considered basal, so it's not dragging you lower. I brought this up mainly to remind you that you can exercise fasting, and that's probably a way for you to keep from having a low blood sugar while you're exercising if you have type 1. But also, Krista Varade, professor, if you'd like to come on the podcast, give me a shout. I'd love to talk about this a little more. I think it's very interesting and timely, and I think it's important for people living with type 1 diabetes. All right, that's it for Scotty reads you the news this week. Don't forget the Juice Cruise, link in the show notes, link at juiceboxpodcast.com. And of course, I'm going to do it again. Of course, you could just text Suzanne at 817-928-4930 and say, I want to know more about the Juice Cruise. And Suzanne will go, why is my phone blowing up like this? But that's between you and Suzanne. I will not be giving you my phone number. And also be very nice to Suzanne. She's lovely. She has type 1 diabetes. She's a travel agent, and this was her brainchild, and she's doing the lion's share of the work. She's a lovely lady, and she'd love to get you set up on the cruise. And of course, I'd love to see you there.